Hey guys, tonight we're heading somewhere no GPS dares to mark. You and 4 other kids are taking a boat ride, not to a vacation island or summer camp, but to a place the old folks in town won't even say out loud. Some call it Witchbone Island, others just call it the Never. Either way, you probably won't survive this. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is there. I love seeing how far this little nighttime crew stretches. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. It begins on a dock that smells like fish guts and engine grease. You shift your backpack and eye the other's Kai with his ridiculous glow-in-the-dark sneakers. Marley already posting something cryptic on her socials. Jun quietly chewing the drawstring on his hoodie. And Brielle calm, unreadable, always wearing that iron locket. 5 of you, standing on splintered wood, facing the water like it might blink first. The ferry is barely more than a motorized raft. Rusted bolts, rope that looks like it gave up 5 years ago. The man steering it says nothing, not even a nod. He just gestures with one gloved hand. No fee, no ticket, no questions. You climb aboard. The air turns cold halfway across, like you crossed through a sheet of invisible ice. The town behind you fades fast, swallowed by fog so thick it could smother thoughts. You feel the engine grumble underfoot, and despite the jokes and dares that got you here, your stomach knots as the island creeps into view. It's smaller than you expected. Cliffs on the left, heavy with twisted pine. On the right, a decaying boathouse with a roof slouched like a drunk old man. Straight ahead, a beach made of black stones that crunch beneath your feet like dry bones as you step off the boat. No welcome sign, no sounds, just wind. Looks like the set of a failed horror movie. Kai says. He tries to sound brave, but his voice cracks a little. You smirk, but only to cover your own nerves. Now, if you're thinking how bad can this really get, let me offer a delightful historical tidbit in the early 1900s. The U.S. military used islands like this for experimental radio towers. Most were decommissioned after World War II's, but some just went quiet. And sometimes, locals whisper about phantom frequencies, signals that never turned off. As you walk inland, the trees lean closer, not metaphorically, like actually leaning. Marley swears she hears a ticking sound. Jun thinks it's just cicadas. You think it's your heartbeat. Then you see the mansion, or what's left of it. It rises in 3 jagged floors from the overgrowth, windows shattered like broken teeth, ivy choking its brickwork, and something about it feels recent, like someone wanted it to look abandoned. The front doors are sealed with chains, but the side door unlocked, because of course it is. Inside smells like whetstone, mildew, and candle wax. The wallpaper peels in long curls. You run your hand along a table, and your fingers come away coated in gray ash. No one's speaking now. It's too quiet for voices, too still. In the main hall, a chandelier hangs by a thread. A cracked portrait looms on the wall. 5 kids, early 1900s, dressed like they're heading to a funeral. One of them looks a lot like Kai. You don't say anything, neither does he, but you notice his jaw go tight. Is this one of those haunted escape room things? Marley asks, only half joking. You nod, but your throat's too dry to laugh. A soft sound echoes from upstairs. Footsteps, slow, deliberate. You all freeze. Here's where it gets weirder. There's no upstairs floor anymore. Just beams. The entire second level collapsed decades ago, yet someone, or something, just walked across it. You're thinking of turning back, but Brielle pulls out a notebook. Legends say this place belonged to a Belgian occultist in the 1920s. She murmurs, built it after his daughter vanished on her birthday. He believed the island looped in time, that if you found the right hour, she'd appear again. Jun rolls his eyes, and he lived happily ever after. No, Brielle says he disappeared too, along with 5 kids from the mainland, right before the mansion burned. You all stare at her. She shrugs. Historians still argue whether it was arson or something else. You don't believe in ghosts? Not really. But your hand's cold. Not the air. Your hand, like something drained the heat right out of it. Marley checks her phone. Dead. All of them are. Every single phone's battery is drained, down to 0, despite being full back on the dock. Okay, Kai says, trying to laugh. Let's find the happy birthday time loop and go home. But you don't move, because you're staring at the clock on the wall. A grandfather clock, face cracked. It's not ticking, but the second hand just moved toward midnight. You know this isn't part of any escape room. You know this isn't a prank. And then you hear the creak of the front doors swinging shut. A gust of wind slams them hard. When you rush back to check, the chain is back, locked, as if it never opened. Kai runs to a window. No fairy. It's gone. You all fall silent. Brielle tucks the locket under her shirt and whispers, "It only lets you leave once." That's when the chandelier shifts overhead, metal groaning. A bead of water sliding off one crystal and hitting your cheek. Cold, real, and far above, in the rafters where no floor exists, something shifts, watching, waiting, breathing. The first instinct is always the same run, but where the front doors are sealed tighter than your 8th grade diary. The windows are either bricked over or armored with iron bars warped by salt and time. You all just stand there, breathing too loud in the silence. You lead the group back into the hallway, deeper into the house, where it smells like old candles and forgotten birthdays. The dust is too thick for how often it seems someone or something moves through here. Footprints appear ahead of yours, barefoot, small, not one of yours. Marley mutters. We follow them. Right, that's what people don't do in horror movies. So we should. You nod, even though every cell in your body would prefer to be anywhere else, like the dentist, or even algebra class. But here you are, retracing a path someone invisible just walked. The footprints lead into a ballroom, or what used to be one. Half the ceiling is gone, letting in slanted light through skeletal beams. Moss grows where a parquet floor used to be. There's a piano against the far wall, missing a leg, listing like a wounded animal. A few keys are chipped, but the rest look untouched. You touch one. It plays a soft, clear note. Then another key presses down by itself. You jump back, but the piano keeps going. A melody you all know. It's the birthday song, but slower, off-key, Twisted, Jun blurts, "Okay, this I'm not okay with," and knocks over a chair just to feel something solid. No one laughs. The music stops. Then the shadow moves. It flickers along the far wall. Tall, humanoid, but not quite right. Like someone stretched a normal person like taffy. Too thin, too long. It steps into view and disappears again when a cloud crosses the sunbeam. You all bolt. Through the hall, down a corridor slick with green slime. No one mentions it. But you all feel it. The air is different here. Warmer, buzzing. At the far end of the hall, behind a half-collapsed bookshelf, you find stairs spiraling down. Old concrete, molded, clearly military grade. Marley blinks. Is this one of those Cold War shelters? It might be. Here's a historical fun fact for you back in the 50s. Certain islands were outfitted with covert military bunkers, some used for nuclear drills, others for more secretive testing. And while the government denied it, rumors floated around of psychological experiments, prototype energy weapons, and even temporal dislocation experiments. Fringe, yes. But the Cold War was nothing if not creatively paranoid. You take a step down, the echo sounds wrong, too fast, like it bounces off something that shouldn't be there. Kai tests a wall with his fist. Hollow. There's a room behind this. You all pause. Jun finds a rusted switch. When he pulls it, the wall groans open like a mouth, revealing a round metal door, submarine style. It's been scratched repeatedly on the inside. Brielle traces the scratches with her fingers. Claw marks. No one responds. Inside, the room smells like copper and mildew. Shelves of old tech line the walls, radio dials, blinking lights, tangled wires that hum like distant thunder. One monitor still flickers, showing static with a faint outline of 5 figures standing at a dock. You realize it's you from earlier, boarding the ferry. Jun finds a file on a clipboard, Project Mirror Mouth. He reads, Test 14B, Subjects 5, Parameters repeated loop until correct frequency identified. Repeat loop, Marley whispers. Kai frowns. Like time loop, that's just sci-fi junk. Brielle's voice is almost too soft to hear. Historians still argue whether the government actually tried chrono-isolation testing. Jun adds, whatever they tried, I think it worked. You all freeze again, because the room's power turns off just like that. Not a flicker, a click, intentional, and the monitor shows 6 figures now. One's behind you. You spin, nothing there, but the air hums louder. You stumble back into the hallway and slam the metal door shut. Kai spins the wheel lock. We don't go in there again. Everyone agrees. Back in the corridor, the vines on the wallpaper look different, twisted in new patterns. One forms a circle with a vertical line through it. The same symbol on the file Jun found. A target A gate. You reach the main staircase just in time to see something vanish around the bend. Not a person, a blur. But what gets you is the smell. Something rich, sweet, almost nostalgic, like cotton candy melting on hot pavement, or the perfume your grandmother wore when she kissed your forehead goodnight. Something that doesn't belong here. You follow it. You shouldn't, but you do. Through another hall, up crumbling stairs that scream under your weight. At the top, you find a room filled with dust and toys. old dolls with glassy eyes, a wooden rocking horse tipped on its side, and on the far wall, names carved into the plaster, dozens of them, each dated, some from the 40s, some from the 90s. Then you see yours, not just yours, all 5 of you, names and the date, today. No one says a word. Brielle swallows hard. We didn't carve those. Someone else did. Marley murmurs, or future us. You all sit for a moment, legs weak, trying to absorb it. And just when you think you've had enough freakouts for the day, something clinks behind you. You turn. A music box on the dresser just opened, and it's playing that twisted birthday song again. You walk over, slowly, like in a dream, and inside is a note. One word, run. When you look up, the dolls are all facing you. You run. There's no debate, no strategy meeting, no Scooby-Doo mystery squad pow wow. Just legs moving before your brain can keep up. Kay knocks over a lamp. Jun nearly face plants over the rocking horse. Marley screams something that sounds like a swear, but muffled by sheer terror. You don't stop until you're outside, gulping air that tastes like salt and ash. The island's silent again, too silent. Even the wind feels like it's watching. And then you see it, the lighthouse. It stands tall at the farthest cliff, whitewashed stone, faded to bone gray. Its top a glass crown fractured by storms. According to local lore, which you may or may not remember from that random pamphlet, at the town diner, the lighthouse stopped working in 1953 after a lightning strike. Official records say it was decommissioned, but here it is, flickering. Once, twice, that pulsing glow cuts through the dusk like a beacon meant only for you. Jun narrows his eyes. It's probably a reflection or something, light bouncing off waves. From what Marley snaps, the moon hasn't even risen. He doesn't answer. You all walk. Because what else can you do? The trail to the lighthouse winds through overgrown hedges and thorny weeds that claw at your legs. Somewhere behind you, something cracks a branch, maybe, or a bone, but no one turns around to check. As you climb, your flashlight catches an old plaque nearly buried under vines. You kneel to wipe it off and find a name. Edith Marlowe, Keeper of the Light, 1938, 1953. Below that, scratched into the stone in a child's handwriting, she tried to warn them. You shiver. Brielle reads aloud from her notebook again, because of course she brought one. Lighthouses were often staffed by families. The kids sometimes went missing. Folks blamed the sea. But some say Edith used the lens to see things that weren't there. Kai mutters, cool, so we're going to meet Ghost Google. The lighthouse door is unlocked. You push it open and immediately regret breathing. It smells like metal, smoke, and old flowers. The walls are slick with condensation, and the spiral staircase looms like a metal spine. Up you go, each step groaning under your weight. Partway up, you find a photo wedged between the steps. It's damp, warped by time, but the faces are shockingly clear. 5 kids, standing at this very lighthouse, wearing your clothes. One of them is mid-blink, but still unmistakably you. Jun flips the photo over. Scrawled in pencil, try again. This time, don't look down. You don't mention the chill crawling up your spine. You just keep climbing. At the top, the lens room stretches like a glass cage. The light mechanism is intact, rusted. Yes, but intact? and humming, slowly. It rotates, sweeping the sea with beams that blink in a rhythm. 3 short, 2 long, 1 short. You don't know Morse code, but Brielle does. It says, "Stay." The room falls dead silent. Then the light pulses again. Same message. You step closer and realize the bulb isn't just shining light. It's projecting images, fleeting, warped visions like reflections on water. You see a bedroom, a swing set, a girl standing in a hallway, smiling with too many teeth, a birthday cake with burning candles. Then blink, it's gone. The wind kicks up, slamming the door shut behind you. Marley lets out a shriek and grabs your arm. Not even a cool grab. Full-on panic mode. The air inside thickens. You hear static, faint, like a radio dial searching for a station. The glass panels vibrate, and the whole room pulses like a heartbeat. Something's trying to reach through. Then it happens. The light freezes on you, and just like that, you're somewhere else. Not far, just elsewhere. The same room, but newer, brighter. You hear footsteps on the stairs, a voice female, warm, humming the birthday song, a little off-key. The air smells like lemon cleaner and cinnamon bread. Then a shadow moves just beyond the door. You blink again and you're back. Cold metal, dust. Everyone's staring at you. You are gone, Brielle says, for like a full minute. I didn't go anywhere. Yeah, you did. You all agree it's time to leave the lighthouse. Back outside. The sun is sinking faster than it should. Like someone pressed fast forward. You check your phone again. Still dead. Jun's wristwatch ticks backward. He doesn't even freak out this time. Just stares. As you reach the bottom of the cliff, you spot something odd. Rocks stacked into deliberate towers, winding in a trail through the tall grass. You follow them. They lead to an old well. Carved into the stone rim is a phrase she's still in there. Marley peers in with a flashlight. It's dry. You toss a pebble in anyway. No sound. Okay, nope. She says, "I'm not doing a haunted well subplot." But you're already seeing something on the inside wall names again. Yours, overlapping, layered, dozens of times. Some scratched out. Like someone was trying to erase themselves or warn themselves. And the light glints off something deep in the dark. A coin, a locket, you lean in. That's when you hear it. A voice, echoing from the shaft, whispering just one word. Come. You stagger back. Jun pulls you away. No one speaks for a while. Back on the trail, you realize something new. There are only 4 of you. Kai, you call out. Nothing. You retrace your steps, yell his name, over and over. Finally, a rustle, then his voice, faint. I'm okay. You follow the sound. It leads you to an old shed, half buried by brush. The door creaks open, and there he is, sitting calmly in the dirt, smiling, too calmly. Hey, he says, I saw something. It made sense. I get it now. What are you talking about? He just stands up and walks past you. No dust on his shoes. No scratch on his knee from where he fell earlier. His shirt's clean, too clean, Jun whispers. That's not Kai, but he follows anyway, because honestly, you'd rather keep moving than stay still. And besides, the lighthouse is glowing again. You don't sleep that night. There's nowhere safe enough for it. Not the house, not the lighthouse, not even the beach. where the waves have started lapping in a rhythm too exact to be natural. You count them. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Repeat. Like a message, a code, or a heartbeat. Instead, you gather around a dying campfire on a patch of sand. The flames sputter like they're running out of oxygen, which, let's be honest, feels like a metaphor at this point. The heat barely touches your skin, but the silence presses down hard. Even the gulls are gone now. Kai Not Kai sits beside the fire, whittling a piece of driftwood with a rock, carving spirals and circles into its surface. You can't bring yourself to ask what he's making, or why. Brielle finally breaks the silence. You know, there's this fringe theory. She begins because, of course, there is that certain locations aren't haunted by spirits, but by memories. The place records energy, loops it like a broken record. Marley, who's hugging her knees, mutters, "Then this island needs a therapist." June stares at the fire. What if it's not looping memories? But people, no one answers, because you've all felt it. That sense that you've walked these paths before, that each choice might already be decided, that maybe the reason 5 kids came here and never left is because they never had a chance. You get up and walk. The others follow, even Not Kai. It's not that anyone decided to go. It just happens, like sleepwalking. The trail leads inland, past blackened trees and a rusty sign half swallowed by vines. Research compound. Entry restricted. The gate is twisted open like a soda can. Inside, the buildings are skeletal husks of metal and glass, half labs, half bunkers. You find a door labeled Echo Room. That name alone gives you pause, but it's not Kai who pushes it open. Inside, a massive circular chamber, smooth metal walls, no windows, just a single chair in the center and a cracked mirror leaning against the far wall. Your footsteps don't echo here. Instead, they muffle, like sound is being swallowed. Brielle picks up a clipboard from the floor. Test 71 auditory frequency response in loop subjects. Results unstable memory anchoring. Identity drift observed. June raises a brow. Identity drift, like forgetting who you are. You step toward the mirror. For a second, it doesn't show your reflection. Then it flickers, and you see 5 versions of yourself, all slightly different. One younger, one older, one with a scar you don't have, one with hollow eyes. Only one smiles, not at you, at itself. You flinch and turn away. The others are silent, even Not Kai, who has stopped carving and is now humming the birthday song again, slowly, off-key. Then something groans behind the wall. You freeze. Metal grinds against metal. The mirror cracks, and a seam splits open in the wall behind it. A hidden passage. And yeah, look, you know this is a very bad idea, but you also know that this island doesn't care what kind of day you've had. So in you go. It's a tunnel, long, narrow, lined with copper tubing that pulses faintly with light. The air here tastes like battery acid and regret. Somewhere ahead, a machine hums, rhythmic, mechanical, alive. You enter a room where the temperature drops 10 degrees in a blink. The walls are covered in whiteboards, scrawled with frantic notes, temporal bleed increasing, subjects repeating emotional loops, self-recognition errors climbing. And in the center of the room, a machine Imagine a merry-go-round made of wires, gears, and broken televisions. Antennas sprout like limbs. At its core is a seat child-sized with metal restraints. You back away. Marley reads something scrawled on the seat's base. Mirror mouth phase interface number 5. Brielle breathes out. Historians still argue whether early Cold War black projects ever truly cracked time displacement. Jun adds, but if they did, this is where they'd hide it. You move closer to one of the old TV screens. It flickers on and shows your face. Then Marley's, then Jun's, then Brielle's, then nothing. Not Kai doesn't appear. You all notice it at once. Then the screen shifts. It shows 5 kids again. Not photos. Live feed in the woods, climbing the lighthouse, entering the well chamber. It's you, but it isn't. One of them waves at the camera. That's when the humming turns into a voice. A child's voice. Robotic. Tinny. Echoing through the wires. Wrong choice. Resetting parameters. The lights flash. The ground shifts. And you find yourselves back on the trail. Same clothes. Same backpacks. But it's early morning now. The sun is rising, again. You're back at the dock, the ferry gone, but the island feels fresher, like it just woke up. Real Kai is there, blinking, confused. Dust on his shoes, scrape on his knee. Marley stares at him. Wait, are you real this time? He shrugs. I think so. Jun checks his watch. It ticks normally. Brielle looks around. Do we try again? You look at your hands. Your name is still carved into your palm. Neatly. Bloodless. Like it was always there. The birthday song plays again. Distant. From nowhere. You look to the tree line, and a figure stands there. A girl in an old-fashioned dress. Barefoot. Hair covering her face. She lifts a hand, points inland. You blink. She's gone, and the lighthouse light blinks once more. Just once, as if it's saying this time. Maybe. You don't speak much after that. Not out of fear, exactly, more like exhaustion. Like your soul needs a nap. Your shoes crunch over gravel as you and the others walk back toward the lighthouse trail. No one mentions the machine, or the second version of yourselves, or the way the trees seem taller now, as if they've grown overnight. Kai walks beside you, and this time, he's humming something soft, not the birthday song, just a few tuneless notes. They rise and fall like waves, like memory, and maybe that's the only compass left. Brielle starts writing again in her notebook. She mutters, half to herself, certain ancient cultures believed time was circular. The Norse had Yggdrasil, the tree of time. The Maya measured cycles in baktuns. Some even claimed islands were sacred places where timelines could blur thin spots between reality and elsewhere. Jun deadpans. Great. So we're on a mythological Wi-Fi hotspot. But you catch the way he keeps glancing over his shoulder, like he's hoping the past won't sneak up behind him. The group reaches a clearing, and just like that new feature unlocked, a massive concrete dome you definitely didn't see yesterday, or earlier, or whenever, it's built into the hillside, half buried, with rusted security doors and warning signs barely legible. One reads, subject va entry. Another says, closed in perpetuity, order 741C. You've learned by now that warning signs are more like suggestions on this island. You open the door. The air inside is warm and dry, unnaturally so. like stepping into a dehumidifier wrapped in static. The hallway slopes downward, lined with fluorescent lights that buzz in a strange rhythm. You try not to match your footsteps to it. You fail. Jun clicks his flashlight on. What's this place? Marley studies the walls. I think it's a shelter, like a Cold War survival bunker, but not for bombs, for people, Kai says, or pieces of them. No one wants to ask what that means. You find the first chamber, a round room with chairs bolted to the floor and speakers in the walls. A reel-to-reel recorder sits on a table, its tape still spinning. You press play. At first, it's just static, then a voice clipped. Male, old. This is Dr. Halverson. Trial number 19. Subjects introduced to sequence pattern echo. All 5 responded. Loop integrity failed after 4 hours. 1 subject cell-fragmented. Room 3 sealed, proceeding to memory isolation. The tape stops, Brielle whispers. Historians still argue whether government experiments in the 50s ever involved children. Most files are redacted or missing entirely. But these sound like they expected kids. You step deeper. In the next room, you find what might have once been bedrooms. Child-sized beds, toys scattered, a stuffed animal missing an eye, a drawing tacked to the wall, 5 stick figures under a bright sun. One has no face. Marley stands frozen at the doorway. This is so not okay. Jun points at a journal on the nightstand. It's open to a single page. I remember yesterday, but not today. I remember every time except the one I need. I remember the ocean, and the machine, and the girl. That's when you hear the laugh. Soft, childlike, coming from the hallway. Not Kai stands there again, but this time he's crying. Tears stream down his cheeks, but he smiles anyway. You left me, he says. We came back. You reply. He shakes his head. Not that me. Then he dissolves, literally fades like mist. Just gone. You press on, because what else is there? The hallway curves again, deeper underground. The air smells like ozone and burnt sugar. You reach a massive chamber filled with pods, glass cylinders, each one fogged from within. Inside the first, a girl, frozen mid-scream. Inside the second, a boy, laughing. Inside the third, nothing. But the glass is cracked. Kai stares. I don't think they're dead. I think they're paused. Brielle touches the control panel. They were testing memory loops, trying to extract consciousness. See what survives without a body, Marley adds. So, ghosts with Wi-Fi. You find one pod marked Subject V. It's open, empty, just as your hand grazes the control panel. The lights flicker and the humming returns. That same mechanical thrum, now coming from behind a sealed door marked Core Interface. You push it open, and the room inside takes your breath away. It's a planetarium, kind of, but instead of stars, the ceiling pulses with moving shapes, memories, scenes, thousands of them, looping overhead like an infinite slideshow. A mom brushing her child's hair, a boy building a model ship, a girl blowing out candles. You see your own face, again and again, not just you versions of you, from different places, different timelines, all drawn here. In the center of the room is a control panel, the same shape as the one in the lighthouse, only this one has 5 handprints. No one says it, but you all step forward. One by one, you place your hands. The panel glows, and the room shifts. Suddenly, you're back on the island, but not this version. Everything is pristine. The buildings are whole. The trees are green. The lighthouse gleams under the sun. And 5 kids play on the beach. Younger. It's you. You're watching yourselves. The real Kai laughs and runs. Marley chases him. Jun builds a sandcastle. Brielle writes in a notebook. And you just stand there, smiling, unaware. You try to shout, to wave. Nothing. They can't see you. Then slowly, one by one, they turn, look directly at you, their eyes empty, their mouths open, and they scream. You jolt back to the control room. The panel is smoking. Your hand burns. You yank it back and see the letters VC carved into your palm. No one speaks. Outside, the humming stops, and from far away, the lighthouse light blinks twice, then 3 times, then dark. You wait in the dark. No one breathes, or if they do, it's shallow. Careful, like breathing too loud might attract something you can't fight with sticks and sarcasm. The panel that just shocked your hand gives off a thin curl of smoke, and somewhere in the walls, you hear the soft plink, plink, plink of dripping water, or maybe coolant, or blood. It's that kind of place now. Jun finally says, "So, that was us." Kai nods. Was maybe. Brielle's voice is trembling, but she keeps scribbling in her notebook like it's a holy task. There's a theory, she says. Of course there is, called observer echo bias. It suggests that the more you witness versions of yourself, the less grounded you become in your timeline, the more likely you are to drift. You look at her, drift how? Like losing a tether, forgetting which you is you, like blending into the loop. Marley stands suddenly. We need to go, now, before this place takes another bite out of our heads. You all agree, but leaving is slower than it should be. The bunker doesn't want to let you go, and every hallway seems longer on the way out. You pass the frozen kids again. One of them, the one in the cracked pod, has moved, not like you saw it happen, but her hand is now flat against the glass. You don't stop to look again. Outside, the island feels different. Not like before, not the shiny, brand new version, and not the overgrown death trap from earlier. This one is worn, like a photo left too long in the sun. Colors are faded. Trees are skeletal. The lighthouse looks like a wax sculpture left in the heat too long. The path back to the lighthouse is still there, but there are more paths now, splintering off into the woods. Twisting, looping, you count 7. One is paved, one is covered in thorns. One leads straight into a pond, which reflects nothing. Not the sky, not the trees, just black. Marley murmurs. The island's changing again. It's picking. You take the paved one because you're tired of splinters and poison ivy. But even that turns into gravel, then dirt, then just dead leaves. The air buzzes with insects that don't sound quite right, like crickets doing Morse code. Brielle stops suddenly. She kneels, brushes away a patch of moss, and reveals something buried in the dirt. A gravestone. Your name is on it, but not your age. Just your name. Visited the island, never left. She uncovers another and another. 5 total, each with your names. Kai's reads, left laughing. Jun's reads, kept walking. Marley's reads, didn't believe it. Brielle's reads, wrote the truth. Yours reads, came back anyway. The others say nothing. You all just keep walking. Soon, you're at the lighthouse again. It looks worse. Rust has crept up its sides like ivy. The door swings on one hinge. Inside, the staircase still spirals up, but now it groans with every step, like it's tired of holding itself together. You reach the top. The control panel is still there, but this time, one of the buttons is glowing red. Beneath it, etched into the metal, are the words, "Final loop," Kai says. This is it. Right, we press it. We go back, or forward, or out. Brielle hesitates. Historians still argue whether consciousness can truly survive multiple re-entries into alternate timelines. Most think memory collapses. You become less real. Jun stares at the button. I'm not sure we are real anymore. You place your hand above the button. Then someone grabs your wrist. It's you. Another you. Paler, thinner, older maybe. Your eyes are blank. No emotion. Just tired. Your mouth opens. And this version of you says, "Don't." Everyone freezes. Your other you looks around. You press that. You start it over. Again. The reset doesn't fix it. It just copies it. Marley shouts. Then how do we stop it? Other you shrugs. You don't. You leave. Kai points at the window. The boat's gone. Has been. Other you steps back. Hand on the railing. There's one way. Always has been. Then they fall backward. Not jump, just let go. And fall. You rush to the window. But there's nothing below. Just fog. Brielle turns to you. Do we try anyway? You glance at your palm. The V is still there, but next to it now, another mark like a tally. One vertical line, a count. Jun takes your hand and places it with his on the button. You don't have to push it, he says, but of course you do. You press. The light floods the room. Sound shrieks like 1,000 radios being tuned at once. The lighthouse shakes. The world twists, and you wake up. Back at the dock again. Except, this time, something's wrong. There are only 4 of you. Kai is gone. No sign of him. No footprints. No bag. Just a trail of humming, floating through the trees. The same song, the same tune. Happy birthday to you. You stare at the others, and slowly, you realize the island doesn't just trap you, it peels you, layer by layer, until only the version it wants remains. You don't even speak his name. Not at first. It's like your mouths know something your brains don't want to admit. Yet some unspoken rule about not drawing attention to a thing that's just been eaten. Saying it aloud might make it permanent. Or worse, invite it back. Jun looks nauseous. Brielle has gone still again. Her pen hanging from her fingers like a broken limb. Marley whispers, "Was he ever here?" You want to scream yes, but in the back of your head, something stirs. A gap, a missing thread. You know Kai. You remember Kai, don't you? You think you do, but suddenly, you can't remember what his voice sounded like, or what color his shoes were, or whether he ever really pressed the button back in the lighthouse with you. The path forward is waiting again. Only now it's not a path. It's a door. Massive, iron, buried in the hillside where no door should ever fit. A dozen padlocks hang from it like ancient jewelry. You step closer and notice each lock has one of your initials engraved on it. Jun whispers, I'm starting to think the island isn't a place, Brielle murmurs. Maybe it's a test, like a myth. Remember the labyrinth of Crete. Some scholars say it wasn't a building, but a metaphor, a way of explaining internal struggle, madness, identity. Marley doesn't move. She just stares at the door. You step forward, place your hand on one of the locks. It clicks open, just like that. Jun follows. His lock opens too. One by one, they fall away. You push the door open. Inside another island, but this one's underground. A hollow earth fantasy. If fantasy included walls covered in pulsing organic roots and ceiling lights made from bioluminescent veins, there's no sky, just a humming red glow above like some distant memory of sunlight. You're walking through a new version of the same old truth. In the distance, you see a figure running. It's Kai. Definitely Kai. You all take off after him, lungs burning with hope and panic and confusion. The roots seem to pull back to let you through, like they know you're meant to be here, or maybe they're just bored. You chase Kai through this strange cavern island, past pools that show reflections of other people, not you, not anyone you know, but they feel familiar, like dreams you've forgotten. You reach a clearing. Kai stands at its center, but his eyes are glowing, and he's smiling too wide. Not Kai again, but different this time. Less misty, more solid, like the island has grown a better version. Marley steps back. That's not him, but you don't stop. You step forward. You call his name, whatever version of it you remember. He turns his head slowly. I remember you, he says. I was you, then I wasn't. What do you want, Jun asks. Not Kai tilts his head. Nothing. I am what's left. This is what happens when you stay too long. When you choose to remember, you're a copy. Brielle says, like the others. I'm a survivor. He corrects. The roots above him glow brighter, pulsing, and you understand this version of Kai was absorbed, not erased, and the island, it keeps the memories it likes. You step closer, gently. Can we bring him back, you ask. He shrugs. Maybe, but what version do you want? The laughing one, the crying one, the one who walked into the lighthouse without looking back. You whisper, the real one, not Kai's eyes dim. That's the only one the island doesn't keep. And then he's gone, not vanished, just dissolved, like a wave, folding into the shore. You stand there in the red glow, unsure of anything anymore. And then Jun collapses, not violently, just folds, right there, in the moss, eyes open, blinking, but not seeing. You run to him, shake him, call his name. He whispers. It's too heavy. What as Marley asks? Jun doesn't answer. Instead, his lips move. Not his voice, not his words, but Kai's song, that birthday tune, slow and broken. Brielle's voice cracks. We're fragments now. You sit beside Jun, take his hand. It's cold, not dead, but close, like a photo fading. You stand again. There's another door now, in the far wall of the cavern. This one's glass. You can see through it. Outside, if it is outside, are versions of your friends, hundreds of them. Some laughing, some crying, some walking into the ocean, some building fires. None of them look up, Marley says. What if we've already opened this door 100 times? You say nothing. Brielle opens her notebook. It's blank now. every page. Just one sentence on the front cover. Did you find what you came for? You touch the glass door, and it opens, but you don't step through. Not yet, because far behind you, something calls your name, your real name, the one even you had started to forget. And suddenly, you remember something about the ferry, about what the captain said when you left the mainland. If they don't all come back, none of you come back. You turn to the others. Just 3 of you left now, and one more loop to go. This is it. One last loop, one last door. You can feel it in your bones, what's left of them. Anyway, not physically, but metaphorically, like your identity is wearing thin around the edges, like memory's been running on duct tape and stubbornness for too long. There are 3 of you now, you, Marley, and Brielle. Jun is still breathing, technically, but he's somewhere else, sitting quietly near the pulsing root wall, humming Kai's tune and blinking at the red glow like it's a sunrise he's trying to memorize. You ask Brielle if she thinks this door is different. She doesn't answer, just looks at her blank notebook and murmurs. There's a historical theory that near-death states create shared hallucinations, like dying brains syncing up one last time, Marley mutters. Or maybe we just shouldn't have come here. You sigh and step through the glass. This time, the island is wrong, like someone tried to rebuild it from memory and got a few things off. The trees are too tall. The sky is too flat. There are no birds, no bugs, just silence thick and pressing, like you're underwater but not wet. The lighthouse is gone. In its place, a crater, and in the crater, a spiral staircase. It just goes down. You look at Marley. She looks at Brielle. No one speaks. You descend. The steps are smooth and warm, like skin. The further down you go, the more you feel that strange sense of déjà vu returning. A smell hits you familiar but wrong. Cotton candy. No reason that should be here. Except now you're remembering the fair. The one Kai mentioned when you all met. The one where he won a plush tiger by guessing the weight of a goose. You remember laughing, but you also remember never actually going to that fair. That wasn't your memory. You grip the railing and keep moving. At the bottom of the staircase is a room. Round, clean, white walls. One chair, one screen. On the screen a live feed. It's you, standing at the dock, with the other 4 kids, just like the first day. Only you're watching from behind the screen now. From some unseen control room, monitoring the version of you about to start the loop again. Marley backs up. Nope. This isn't real. Brielle steps closer to the screen. There's a fringe theory in cognitive archaeology. Ancient cultures believed the soul could fracture and live out different realities simultaneously. Some thought dreams were proof. Others believed in a trial of selves, that you'd be tested across many versions of yourself before reaching the end. You look at the controls below the screen. 2 buttons. One says observe. The other says exit. That's it. No instructions. No takebacks. You reach for exit, but Brielle stops you. I think we're supposed to choose together. You look at Marley. She shrugs. I never signed up to be real. Brielle says nothing. So you ask, do you want to go back? Try again. She closes her eyes. I don't think there's a back. I think it's loops until we stop pressing buttons. You all stare at the screen. The 5 kids' versions of you step onto the island again, laughing, joking, carrying backpacks and snacks, blissfully unaware of the roots, the ghosts, the fractures waiting. And then something strange happens. On the screen, one of them, your double pauses, looks at the camera, at you, and mouths something. You lean in. One word. Run. No time to process. The screen flashes, blinks out, and the white room cracks. The floor splits open. The chair falls. The lights dim. You grab Marley. Brielle grabs you. And then, for the first time, you scream. The room shatters, and you wake up. This time, for real, you're in your bed. Not a dream, not a loop, not a simulation, unless it's a really good one. You sit up. The window's cracked open. Birds chirp. Your backpack's on the floor, filled with clothes and snacks and that half-empty notebook. But something's off. You look at your wrist. There's a mark, not a scar, just a tiny letter. V. You open the notebook. Inside, in your handwriting, don't go. Not again. You try to remember what it means, and can't. Then your phone buzzes, a group chat. Someone's texting. Junferi leaves at 9. You and Kai don't ghost this time. We got snacks. Marley, bring your boots. It might get muddy. Brielle, I packed the notebook. Let's do this right. You stare at your screen and wonder who you are this time. Then you type yes. Let's go. The story quiets now, and the island slips back into shadow. You made it, or some version of you did, and whether the loop broke or simply started again, well, that's not for tonight. Let's soften everything now, like dust settling on an old photo, or fog closing over a still lake. Let your thoughts drift like the tide, gentle and endless. Whatever questions linger about time, or identity, or where the ferry actually goes, they can wait for another day, another dream, another soft, echoing whisper of a place that maybe never was. You are here now, breathing slow, safe, the kind of safe that doesn't need locks or passwords or choices. Just breath, in, out, nothing reaching for you, no buttons to press, no doors to open, just the hum of quiet space around you. Maybe you're lying in bed, the sheets cool and comfortable, the air soft with the sound of a fan. Maybe your eyes are already heavy, your limbs warm and weightless. Let your mind let go of the loops, the versions of yourself, the flickers of memory that tried so hard to stay. Let them fade, like the glow of the lighthouse behind a thick curtain of fog. That's what stories are for, after all, to be held for a moment, and then gently released. The island is quiet now, and so are you. The story is over. See you tomorrow night. Sweet dreams.